Hello there, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, the internet, and the like, and welcome back to Series Sam 3, BFE. And as you might guess, we are not quite finished with this game. We still have 3 more levels to complete, and no, they are not part of the main campaign, but they do take place in that general time. This DLC is called the Jewel of the Nile, and is a campaign level series, and we're just gonna get started on it. As you can see, I've already played through it. The reason I did it because I was not really satisfied with how my first part of this blind run initially went with like Gathering of the Gods, and it took me over an hour to actually finish the video when I could do it in a much less amount of time, and plus it just feels a bit more professional to actually like play the levels and have a general understanding of what it is you're doing, so that way you won't do stupid stuff like I tend to do. So we're gonna do things a little bit differently. I understand it's a bit inconsistent, but hey, I think this might just be the better alternative than to just, you know, go into things blindly and spend 2 hours looking around for things that are really, really obvious, and I could get into more detail as to why I say that once we get to that part in this level. So we're gonna just start off on the very first level of this DLC, Gathering of the Gods, and we're gonna be doing this on hard difficulty because that's just pretty much part of the tradition. I'm just gonna do it on hard difficulty. I think I might have actually done the main campaign on just normal mode, but I really can't remember. I'm gonna have to go back and like look at the very first video I ever did, but that being the case, whatevs. If we're going to be inconsistent with how we play this game, we're also just going to be inconsistent with the difficulty we choose. So let us begin.
Set a course for R&R?
You read my mind. I'm thinking massage, steak, hot tub. Or maybe it should be hot tub, steak.
Whoa, not so fast, Kimasabi. I got orders coming in. Wilson here, I copy. Roger that, HQ. We're on our way.
What now?
I'm supposed to take you to file. Looks like the time lock didn't come online as it was supposed to.
And that's my problem, how?
I don't give the orders. They're saying there's a temple there. They think we'll let you turn it on.
Sorry, Sam. We need you to just finish this out. You're our only guy in the area right now.
I'm flattered.
You should be. The 2 Syrian generators you turned on didn't start the time lock.
Hey, I didn't design them.
But we think we figured out the problem.
Let me guess. There's a 3rd generator.
I wish it were that easy. It looks like there's a safety switch on file that prevents the time lock from activating. Kind of like a failsafe.
Fail-safe? Is that some kind of vault you keep all your fail in? Because I love you, Quinn, but a fail-safe is sounding more and more like an apt description of this mission. Where is this switch I'm supposed to flip exactly? You don't know, do you?
We know what island it's on.
Glad I'm going into battle with a clear plan.
Here you go. If you need me, I'll be at 20,000 feet. Headed the hell away from here.
Love you too.
Alright, so we start off on the island of File, and there's already a bit of graffiti we can read. Sink your teeth into victory, join Mental's Horde. So, I believe I know where 7 out of 8 of the secrets of this level are at. I know there is like at least one that I'm missing, because the last time I played, I did check around and I saw a few things here or there that I didn't notice before, so just to bear that in mind, I probably won't be getting all the secrets in this run, but I'll try to get most of them. They're pretty easy to remember as far as I know, so we also got some right here. Do not despair. Yes, do not despair. I shall look for as many secrets as possible, and hopefully I shall not die. And we also have some more graffiti over here. And that's some more propaganda. So, pardon me for clearing my throat right there. I'm not going to go after any secrets just yet. First of all, as you can see, all we have are the magic hands and the pistol. And there are a bunch of these little shacks, but unfortunately, they are locked, so we need to find a key, as Natrixa implies. And then we can also go over here, you know, take this guy's heart out because he's not paying attention. And just survey the general area, and as you can see, there's our next weapon. Our new melee weapon is going to be an axe! Now, the axe works exactly like the sledgehammer. There's literally no difference apart from the fact that it has a different model, so fret not, do not despair, as the graffiti has said. Everything works completely normally, and walking into some of these shacks we can find a little bit of health and armor. In terms of the power-up department, I think there might be a few different enemies here or there. Huh. Okay, alright, let's just go in here. There's also some more graffiti. We just picked up a new key.
Always wanted one of these.
And as Sam has just spoken, yeah, a key to the city. And that's basically where we have to go, but these keys, as Natrixa also says, can open other doors. And these doors are going to be really handy to our disposal because we're going to be able to find new weapons. There is one thing that I should probably explain about these weapons, is that I'm not really going to be making an effort to use a lot of the heavier weapons you get, because the ammunition for these is very, very, very limited. Believe me, you don't want to be screwing around like firing rockets at clear skeletons. That's unfortunately not how I'm going to be doing this level, because there's only so many rockets I can keep. So just to start off, we're going to open up all these shacks and see what we can see. Plenty of shells. There's lots of shells to go around. I wouldn't be concerned about wasting all of those unless you just stand in one place and fire mouse one over and over again. Over here we get the first shotgun, which is pretty rad, and there should be a double shotgun around here someplace. There's another axe if you so desperately need it. I'm just going to go around, open as many of these that are in my path, and you know, while we're here, we might as well just pick up the first secret. So jumping onto this rooftop, there is some regular armor, which is not a secret. The secret is actually that health right out over there, so I might fail at getting this, because jumping in this, I think that might be a little bit relative to the frame rate you have, because I could have sworn I've managed to make it on top of this building by just sprinting right here on this little ledge. Oh, there we go. Healthful. So see, that is the first secret, and the second one is actually right down here, and this one's actually a little bit spooky scary, so we're just gonna break open these boxes, make sure that all of the boxes are cleared, because I don't want this to go wrong. And if you walk into this little cave, you'll find a giant legion of spiders, and they can be a little bit frightening, so it's because they're midget-sized, but as terms of how midgets act in Serious Sam games, they do the exact same amount of damage as a normal enemy would, so you might want to be a little bit cautious as to what you're doing, and make sure you don't get bitten by the spiders, but you can easily outrun them just by walking backwards. And I do believe the spiders can also drown if you just lure them into the water. And that is another thing in this game, is that you can swim. This is technically the proper area where you're supposed to swim in Serious Sam 3, because if you recall correctly, I found one place in the Oasis part of the Lost Temples of Nubia in my playthrough where you could actually swim, but you're really not supposed to. So, this is kind of more of the proper area, sort of the prelude to what swimming is all about in Serious Sam 3 before. And I hope you understand what that means, because I sure as hell don't. So I'm gonna just pick up that rocket launch over here, and over here is actually where the next secret is at, alongside the area where we're supposed to go collect our next artifact. So first of all, we're just gonna shoot these guys for a little while. As you can see, they're just rocketeers, they're pretty self-explanatory. And you can see up there, there's some space monkeys, and there's also a biomech. We're not gonna concern ourselves with those guys just yet. First of all, if you go over to this buoy, you can see I burped. Oh god, that was horrible. I do apologize for that. This is gonna be a long video. So there's a buoy right here. If you swim right down where this buoy is at, you'll find some secret rockets, which are not immediately visible, but they are there. And as you can see, we have 20 rockets in our arsenal. And there's also 5 other rockets in another area, which I could probably go show off in just a second. First of all, we're going to take care of this skeleton dude, because he's not really needed right now. As for the space monkeys, I think I might just leave them alone for the time being. There's already a few other enemies that are currently spawning, like there's that guy out there, which is a biomechanoid. And okay, there's 2 of them. But biomechs are pretty simple. You can easily kill them with a shotgun. Like, just keep strafing to the left or to the right, and don't walk into the path of their lasers. Very, very simple. Like, one thing I did notice about the biomechs is that these guys are a bit more aggressive in this game compared to the classic games, which I don't really know why. They just have a tendency to fire a lot more often, but that doesn't make them any less difficult. any more difficult to deal with, I should say. I hate it when I try to make statements like that. It's any less difficult, any more difficult. Those always screw me up in my head. And I always say the incorrect sentence or phrase. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and pick up that next secret. And then we can actually maybe progress with what the level has to offer. Maybe I should just go after all, like, the mandatory secrets that I feel as though I should probably go pick up first. So, this is a mini secret. Rockets up on top of that pillar right there. There's another biomech that's shooting at me. And there's some more rockets in here. It might look like there's a lot of rockets, but trust me, you don't want to be wasting these foolishly. I do have a plan for what to do with these, so just bear with me, folks. I'll try to make this as quick as humanly possible. So, we're gonna run out over to this shoreline area because there are 2 secrets of which I can collect in this general area. So, let's head towards the first one. Also, this is probably like the first Serious Sam 3 level where it doesn't involve a worm for one thing because we're surrounded by the ocean. You can essentially swim out as far as possible to the ocean as you please. The only catch being that eventually you're just going to run into an invisible wall, which is not always pleasing. But this is also like one of the first instances where we're like actually on an island, which is pretty cool. And I just realized that I think I missed the secret entirely. Yeah, there it is. Wilson's secret! It's a little beach ball, Wilson. Hey. I wasn't quite anticipating this guy showing up, whatever, we'll just go ahead and deal with him. So, excuse me for a minute, I'll just shoot him a few times with the shooty. And the next secret is over way out on this island. But swimming is still a feature in this game, as you can see, and it works out pretty well. You use duck to dive, and you could also just, like, point with the arrow keys if you want to choose the direction you're going, and space to swim upwards. Pretty self-explanatory. And of course, Sam is an action hero, so you can stay underwater pretty much as long as possible until, like, the drowning bar shows up. And when that drowning bar gets a little bit low on the scale, you might want to consider surfacing. So, just be mindful of that. Now, this secret I actually missed on my first playthrough, but I actually kind of knew it was here. I just forgot it was on an island. So, this is just sort of out in the distance, but if you walk over here, there's a cannon. We can't pick up this cannon, but it exists for this purpose only. And that is a super serious moment. I actually wonder if his model is still over there if I swim over there. I'm just gonna find out. I'm gonna quick save too because I'm so scared that I'm gonna like die by doing this, or maybe I'll just end up hitting an invisible wall. Right, so I found the invisible wall, guys. You're not supposed to go out there, evidently enough. There is some collision detection issues I found sometimes when you're just trying to dive. I could have sworn sometimes I get hurt when I'm like trying to dive into the water, and it like acts as though I've just fallen from a great height onto a surface. It's a little bit buggy, so just be mindful of that, but thankfully it did not occur this time, so we're gonna go ahead and swim back to the island now. That was a very touching moment right there. And I think I can actually go over and get the next secret, which is a pretty easy secret to get actually, and pretty handy one I might note. There are 2 100 health power-ups in this level. One is sort of just a main one you could collect, which does activate a trap, but it's not a very super scary trap. And the second one is this secret over here. So, first of all, I'm gonna shoot this guy for a little bit. Just to get him out of the way, and I might go after the space monkeys as well. I could probably take them out with the mutilator now that I think about it. So, you jump onto this little structure right here, onto these walls that are generally ruined, and you just run your way towards this 100 health power-up, which counts as a secret. More like a mini-secret, but in the end it counts towards your overall secret cowardice score, so that's one space monkey down. Thankfully, this level doesn't have too many space monkeys, so I can't really complain about that. There's just, like, these 2 that hang around here, and I think there might be one inside this temple. There's a bunch of skeletons, I know that much. And also, you can see there's a scorpion there as well, which we're gonna deal with in just a second. First of all, better take care of these spooky, scary, skelly men. Hit R to reload the shotgun. And go ahead, and we're gonna snap this guy's neck. And also opening this door, you'll find a double-barreled shotgun, which is also pretty handy to have. And, okay, there's another skeleton around here. The enemy spawns in this level are a little bit weird. I'm pretty sure sometimes the enemies are just completely delayed and they spawn only at a certain point of time. It's kind of difficult to explain what exactly happens, but going in here, we get our final weapon of this level, and it's a sniper rifle. The sniper rifle and the laser gun, notably, are both now mainstream weapons, but unfortunately the sniper rifle can only carry 20 bullets in total. Right now we only have 11, but that's fair enough. I think there should be more around here someplace, so we'll definitely go ahead and pick those up when we reach them. But for now, as Natrix has said multiple times, or as she's implied, we have to go here and open this gate to this little tomb right here. And there is also some more Egyptian text if you're much of an Egyptian text junkie, and you can read this stuff if you pause the video. I'm just gonna go ahead and translate it all just for the hell of it. And also E to use ladder, the ladders are back, and you can use them to climb back up if should you get stuck down here, because there's really no other way of like getting back up.
Sam, are you inside the temple yet? We don't have much time.
Nice cans.
Excuse me?
On the statue. Hellfire better watch out. This one's stacked like a tree on Christmas morning.
Glad we could find something that could get you interested in history. Wait a second. Does she have wings?
Not where I was looking, but yes,
That's Isis, the goddess of fertility.
I can see why.
We need you to focus, Sam. Get that statue and put it on her plinth.
Flint.
Plinth. Her pedestal. You know, in the temple. On the surface.
Sam is quite horny in this DLC. I'm not really exactly sure why he makes so many sex jokes, but he just does, so we're just gonna deal with that. I really don't know what it was. Also, the voice acting does sound a little bit different too, like he sounds a little bit more shouty this time around. Just a little bit compared to previous instances. I think the voice acting in general tends to be pretty inconsistent, because it's always the same guy, John J. Dick, also known as Booger, I believe is his internet name, if you're so curious. Okay, so where we have to put the statue is away from all these guys. Actually, I'm just going to use the mutilator on these for old time's sake. So where we have to place the statues is actually over here. And you can also open these doors later on if you want, just to have easy access to get out. But this is where you have to put the first statue. And in turn, for one thing, that's going to like translate the Egyptian text. I'm probably still going to be looking at it, but this just goes to show where the next statues appear on their own pedestals. And basically, what made the first playthrough of this level unnecessarily long is the fact that I wasn't paying attention, and I picked up those statues and I was like, where the hell am I supposed to put these? But the truth of the matter is, once you pick up the statues, you have to bring them back to this room. So this room is always going to be relevant. Never forget, you have to put the statues in this room only. So, I'm glad we could get this out of the way. So, now let's go ahead and move on with the level itself. And God, there's a big blood splatter right here. That is nasty. I should probably call the janitor to clean that up. Viscera cleanup detail, Serious Sam edition. So there are a few scorpions out here, which I'm not really afraid to use rockets on because, let's be honest, I have a decent amount at my hands, so I'm gonna go lure these kamikazes in here just to be safe, because I know they're gonna follow me in here, inevitably, or they're gonna get stuck and I have to go all the way back outside just to locate where they are, because that just goes to show how great the AI is sometimes. Where's the skeleton? There he is. Always single out the skeletons first. That's my rule of thumb, is that make sure you ignore the Rocketeers as much as possible until they become like an actual threat. And by that I mean they all just stand around you wanting to give you hugs. So, I'm gonna shoot that arachnoid for a little bit of time. I might just end up killing this guy with a shotgun instead, just because at this point I'm still trying to conserve a few rockets. You're standing right next to me. Obviously there are still a few Gnaar that are kind of ill-content with Sam slaughtering the poor one on the boat, which I can understand. Hello, more needless enemies, which I don't feel like dealing with. Okay, we're gonna wait for this guy to stop shooting his gun. And there we go. That should take care of things. Now, next up, we have to deal with this guy, and I could probably easily take him out with a melee attack. One good way to conserve ammunition is to just melee the scorpions, the miniature ones, because they're literally no threat otherwise if you just manage to incapacitate them in such a way. So I guess now that we're here, we can go ahead and pick this up after I deal with those enemies out in the distance. And there we go. So this is the Hador statue, and obviously it's not too bad at the beginning. It's just gonna spawn a few kamikazes around the area. There's also those scorpions out there which don't really attack you for some odd reason. I think I might have just wasted a rocket accidentally. But let's just pretend that didn't happen. Continue to conserve the rest of our rocket ammunition. Over here is actually where the rest of the sniper rifle bullets are if you're so interested in picking them up. I'm saving them for a few specific enemies, so just bear that in mind. You will get to see the rifle in action eventually, and I'm gonna get out of the way because clearly there is a scorpion out there which is not really happy to see me. I'm not entirely sure where he is. Oh, there he is. Okay, he's over there. We're gonna deal with that fellow in just a second. If I could actually get through this doorway, that'd be nice. Ow, ow, ow. There we go. Alright, crisis averted. Now, next up, deal with this guy because he's not supposed to be here. And also deal with this guy who seems to be having difficulty actually hitting me for once. I'm gonna go see if I could just maybe clear out as many enemies as possible. I haven't played this level too many times. I've done 2 full playthroughs in total, and now that I have a general sense of sort of what's going on, I'm just gonna have to deal with the enemies as they approach me. So, just thought I'd bear that in mind. I think that's everything. Okay. Alright, I got this. We got this. Let's, just keep checking out these buildings. I remember at one point there was actually, like, a health power-up that spawned here that activates a trap, but I can't specifically remember how you activate the trap, per se, because I've only come across it once, and that was purely accidentally. I can't really explain why, but just to bear in mind, there might be a health power up there, and that might potentially activate a secret. I'm gonna go over here and open this door as well. So now that we have the statue, I think we can go ahead and maybe take it back to where it's supposed to go. First of all, as you can see, we gotta deal with these guys, which of course aren't too much of a threat. The skeleton's pretty easy to take care of if you know what you're doing, and the Gnaar's pretty much cannon fodder, much like the Rocketeers are. You can basically kill the Rocketeers by any means possible. I'll go ahead and pick up this armor. There is plenty of armor to go around, but you want to make sure you don't waste it all, otherwise that might be a bit of a problem. And this little cutscene indicates all the statues I already have, and that's actually close by the door where we found the Isis statue, so if you're so curious as to what your progress is, if you ever lose track of that, then there you go, that's where it is. So the next statue hath spawned, and that in turn hath spawned a bunch of enemies. Notably, this guy, which just runs right through the door, no consideration towards your feelings, just completely ill intentions all around. And there are a bunch of Rocketeers out there. There is also a rather spooky, scary enemy, which is that guy. We don't want to, like, get too close to that guy, so we're gonna be a little bit cautious, and on the occasion, we'll let him just shoot his rockets at the general vicinity, and maybe just take care of these Rocketeers as well while we're here. Maybe I could actually just let that guy get close enough, and then maybe I could just shoot him with the shotgun a few times. He has a lot of health, and he's one of those enemies that I just really don't feel like wasting so much ammunition on. So, just to be safe, I'm gonna do that. Like, 27 rockets, okay, I'm gonna use a few rockets on him. So, maybe 1, 2, and then 3. And then watch as he doesn't actually get stunned, but instead he just chooses to fire at me, which I really didn't anticipate that movement, I'll be honest, but if you know how to dodge the rockets, then it all becomes pretty simple in the end. I'm gonna go ahead, quick save. Now there is another guy over here, so blink, just shoot a few rockets in his general direction, and maybe I'll go ahead and like the kamikazes, just approach me and then die by the rockets. I don't believe the Scrapjack's rockets here can actually destroy this barrier because it's sort of a key location. So you could probably just jump up, maybe shoot him a few times with the shotgun, and then just wait for him to attack a few times. See, slowly waddles towards you. pretty simple enemy to deal with. In fact, you could just duck if you really felt like it, and eventually he just gets bored. He doesn't really fire as much as other scrapjacks do, surprisingly enough. And I'm gonna go outside, just check for other enemies, because, yeah, I had a feeling that there would still be a few others hanging around. So, be sure to deal with those guys in due time, and everything should work out. And I'm also gonna rip this guy's head off, because I don't feel as though he needs it. Hey, if the headless soldiers don't need heads to fight me, then the clear skeletons clearly do not need heads either. It's just serious Sam logic. Oh, hey, it's you guys. You're the ones that are causing this battle music to play. You foul demons, how dare you? How dareth you? Alright, so I think we could go ahead and pick up the next statue now. Just make sure everything is in proper order. Yeah, okay. So, Jerry statue. You pick up the Jerry statue, and then this area is actually sealed off by a barrier, and this is on both sides. So the level just kind of likes to trap you in for certain points of time, and you kind of have to wait for a bunch of enemies to penetrate the barrier to fight. That guy, I don't think he counts, but he's there if you so desperately want to fight him. So walking over here, it's not too bad at first, you know, you get a nice view of this temple. Walking forward, however, spawns a bull, and it spawns a second bull as well, so I'm going to use the sniper rifle on him. And there also spawns a scrapjack on this side, I believe, which is not a friend. In fact, is very much an enemy which I'd rather not deal with. So, we're just going to be mindful of him showing up eventually, and maybe deal with the clear skeletons as well. And then shoot this guy. Let the Rocketeers just pass through the barrier. You can easily take him out with the Mutilator if you really want to, and wait until, like, the Scrapjack shows up. In this case, there he is. And then, I think we can use a few rockets on him, and that will stun him, but instead of just taking him out the normal way, I'm gonna go ahead and just kill him with the melee attack, because that works just as well. There should be a few other enemies in here, too, that are looking for me. There they are. Okay. So that little area can be a little bit spooky if you're not prepared. It's one of the reasons why you want to have as many weapons on you as possible, but all the same, you don't want to be wasting all that ammunition on them, because, like, all the precious ammunition, I should clarify. The rockets and the sniper rifle bullets are definitely going to come in handy later on, and you'll see why. But first of all, I'm going to keep quick saving because I never stop doing that. And there's another statue down, so now we have 2 more to collect. As you can see, it's already spawned enemies on the outside of the gate. I believe this one also spawns some biomechanoids once you pick it up, so just to be mindful of that, we might be, again, conserving some ammunition, which might seem needless, but trust me, it's as necessary as humanly possible to conserve ammunition on this level, which is one of the reasons why I don't really enjoy it as much as other levels that I've played. But whatever, so it's all about personal preference. And if you like having the stakes sort of raised in this situation, this kind of situation more specifically, then top hats to you. But me personally, I did not like this level all too much, but it's a pretty decent start if you know what you're doing. So it's also kind of nice to have a level where you just start off without having any weapons and you sort of have to work your way up. I do like it when the Serious Sam games do that. It's just, I love that so much. It kind of gives you a fresh start, a fresh opportunity to deal with new enemies. And that's where the kamikazes are at. Okay. Lots of kamikazes. I'm getting stuck by these guys. But thankfully, the axe, not the sledgehammer, totally not the sledgehammer, works very effectively against Gnars, as you can plainly see. I'm gonna go ahead and... Oh wait, those... Yay, more rockets, I think. Alright, very nice, very nice. Okay. You know, my health is actually doing fairly decently, so I might just skip picking this up for the time being, but I will show off what that does before I end the level off, so... And as for the final secret, I'm pretty sure I've gotten 7 out of 8. Nothing really comes to mind that screams a secret that I've missed. I just know that there's definitely one that I've never found before, which is very unfortunate, but what can you do, right? Okay, let's go ahead. let's traverse this way to where the statue actually is. I just wanted to head outside and deal with the majority of the other enemies first, and we're just gonna go ahead and attract the attention of all these other enemies first. So, I thought that guy would, like, run a bit closer. I anticipated quite a different strategy than what he had planned, unfortunately. Alright, there's the Scrapjack. I think you could actually just easily kill him by standing outside of the door over here. Hang on. First of all, I should probably go ahead and take care of these kamikazes, because clearly they're having some pathfinding problems. Where's the other guy? There he is! Okay, it took me a minute to recognize where he was, but I found him eventually. Alright, with those minor enemies out of the way, we're gonna go ahead and just stand maybe around here. Like, the Scrapjack is pretty much outside of the door, and you could just shoot him from here. You might occasionally attract the attention of, like, a skeleton or something if they haven't quite noticed you at the beginning. I'm gonna be a little bit mindful of that kamikaze as well, because I know he's out there. But you could shoot the enemies through the gates and just wait for them to attack first. I think you do take damage if the rockets do actually hit the gate, so just to be mindful of that, we're gonna play it safe, maybe shoot him about 4 times, go in here, reload, and basically repeat this process over and over again until he dies. So, yeah, it's tedious, again, I know, but I need these rockets. I have bigger fish to fry. Any day now, he should perish as well, so I got no beef with this. Actually, you could probably just go outside, maybe stand here, and I'm sure he won't mind. He'll, well, this guy apparently did mind. I honestly did not know he was there, so a little bit to my fault right there. I took damage by that clear skeleton, but whatevs. Whatevs. Okay, so now let's go out here and just check things out. And actually, I'm gonna go ahead and check and see if that health power-up actually spawned out there in that area. No, it didn't. Well, there is a skeleton out here, so all is not for a loss. Maybe if I... Okay, hi. I did not expect you to be here either. Well, but that's just depressing. I didn't really think that the skeletons would actually be doing that much damage to me, but as it turns out they are, and they're quite terrifying, as you might know. Hang on. There's the kamikaze. Okay. Finally found that one kamikaze that was giving me a little bit of grief. Now, I think now we could probably go ahead and pick up that statue. And that statue is a little bit terrifying, because when you got this little enclosed temple right here, once you pick the statue up, there's a little barrier that appears right here. Like, literally right here. And you can't leave for 1 minute for some pretty obvious reasons. So, first of all, we're just gonna let things spawn. Like, first of all, it starts off with a few kamikazes, and then there's a biomech, and also a few Gnars. So we're gonna hide in here for a little bit and let the Gnars come to us. And then we're also gonna deal with the biomech, who basically just stands there, and he shoots rockets into this general area. So, first of all, let the Gnars approach us, and they might get a few cheap hits off of you if you're not careful, but all in all, it's not too scary. It's just a little bit mean. So, we're gonna go ahead and shoot 5 rockets at that guy who seemed to be a little bit hesitant to attack, but if you're lucky, he should never attack at all, evidently enough, so I have no complaints with that. And then they start spawning harpies, which are now a little bit more common enemies in this DLC, but pretty easy to take care of. Just use the double-barreled shotgun, and their hitboxes, I find they're a little bit weird to hit with, like, sniper rifle bullets, but if you're gonna be using just the double-barreled shotgun, it actually works out in your favor, to your advantage, so no complaints there. You can also melee kill them if you so desire. Like, that's also a pretty effective strategy if you time it right. Or you could just take them out from a distance using the pistol, which basically has infinite ammunition, so I think some of the harpies, yeah, that one was having a pathfinding problem, evidently enough. And there's another bull down here. And, of course, you can easily take out the bulls with something that isn't the sniper rifle, and that would be the shotgun. You can also use rockets if you so desperately want to, but, again, not this time. Maybe later on I'll probably end up using the rocket launcher when the rockets definitely become a much more common resource, but for the time being, no, not now. I have plans. I have big plans, and I don't want them spoiled by these guys. So, we picked up the statue, and that doesn't appear to have spawned much else apart from those harpies. The harpy ladies, which thankfully I don't really think I'll have to do any censoring on this time around. So, we're gonna go ahead and pick up this armor, and I'll leave that one right there. And, alright, here's the pedestal of which you have to place it on. Now there's just one more statue left, and as it turns out, it's where we found those secret 5 rockets. So, that statue is particularly what I was saving the sniper rifle bullets and the rocket launcher ammunition for. So, you shall see what that means in a second. First of all, I'm gonna walk out here, just casually stroll along, and there are some biomechs already. So this is kind of why I was saving the rocket launchers, because the biomechs are not your friends. They are a little bit weird, because they do have a tendency to stay confined in a single area and, like, never move, but at the same time, if you approach them a little bit more closely, they start to get a little bit more aggressive for some odd reason. I'm gonna go ahead and just kill these guys with rockets, because I don't really think they're contributing to much. In fact, I think I have enough rockets to just do the job, so we should be fine, all things considered. If I can actually, like, hit these guys, that'd be nice. And maybe occasionally check behind me and make sure I'm not being flanked, because that would be a little bit sad. I don't want to get pounced by any more clear skeletons, and if I do, I'm gonna be a really sad panda. So here's the other guy. He's not really amounting to anything. You can just shoot up a few times with a few rockets, and then maybe lure the kamikazes out once they start getting a little bit too close for comfort. So, given the fact that we're sort of standing outside of the field of view, sort of the range of which this biomech is specifically encoded, then you can easily just lure the kamikazes out, deal with them, and then take care of the biomech once those are cleaned up and finished. And there's also a few more stragglers hanging around, but no matter, we can still take this guy out at least, because he's a pathetic biomech. He does not deserve to live. And that was just basically his death wish all along. Such a sad, sad story. What a world we live in. I believe I've checked these rooftops before of these little sheds, but I don't think they contain anything. Also, this little crane right here doesn't really do anything. There isn't any secret hidden inside of it. Oh, that's where the health power-up is. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and pick this up. Nothing? Huh. I think it actually involves... Wait a second. I think it involves actually picking it up to activate the trap, so we might need to come back to that later where I actually take a sufficient amount of damage, and then I'll go ahead and maybe pick up the next 100 health power up. But anyway, that doesn't matter for the time being. This is a statue of Osiris, and this is where some new enemies are introduced. Reptiloids! It takes 3 sniper rifle bullets to kill them, and these guys are actually a little bit aggressive. Like, more aggressive than the Serious Sam HD counterparts, because they have a tendency to fire... I don't know, maybe their aggressiveness is just sort of based on the difficulty you have, but I find that these guys are a little bit more of a challenge to deal with if you don't have the proper weaponry. So, in my first playthrough, I made the mistake of not saving any of, like, my sniper rifle bullets or rockets for that situation, and as such, I got overwhelmed a little bit easily, but I still somehow managed to, like, defeat them all in the end. I just thought I'd point that out. And as you can see, enemy AI is still working pretty well, because the enemies, they kind of don't exactly know what to do when you're, like, surfaced or in the water, which is pretty adorable, so they just kind of stand around doing absolutely nothing with their lives. This is just typical Serious Sam enemy behavior, which I'm sure eventually they'll probably fix, but it's just something that's always remained on, like, the Serious engines. I don't understand why that is. This is great Serious engine. Okay. So having dealt with those monstrosities, we can go ahead and maybe pick up this armor over here. And I say maybe pick up, I mean actually pick up, because clearly I'm not able to unequip it and place it back where I found it, because that's just not a feature you get in Serious Sam 3 BFE. Maybe they'll add it in Serious Sam 4, but that's just wishful thinking. So I didn't appear to have lost too much of any health at all during that situation at hand. So, enemy? Oh yeah, that sounds like there's still a bull around here. I think I could go ahead and maybe use the rest of my sniper rifle ammunition. I don't think there's much of anything that's really that much of a threat, per se. And as you might know, the sniper rifle still does the same amount of damage as it would when you're not zoomed in. Like, I'll just no-scope this bull. But the reason I zoom in quite frequently is not only because it's kind of a muscle memory for me and sniper rifles in Series Sam, but also because occasionally you'll fire what looks like a point-blank shot and the shot just completely misses. I'm not sure what the spread with the sniper rifle is like, but let's just leave it at the fact that it's a little bit funky, and just to be safe, I prefer to zoom in as constantly as possible to make sure I don't miss my shot, because you can only carry 20 sniper rifle bullets at a time. And I don't want to waste them all. That would just make me really depressed, because I'll be like, I had the chance to use the one and only sniper rifle of the game, and then it just doesn't work. Yeah. Somehow, I feel as though the sniper rifle in Series Sam 3 was sort of tacked on at the end.
Come on, you're my eyes and ears here.
Some kind of stone lozenge just rose up out of the floor. Quinn, what
That's the seal of Isis. It should unlock the door to the next chamber.
And by the seal of Isis unlocking the door to the next chamber, that means we have to go down into the chamber where we initially found the Isis statue, and that will end the level. However, I'm not quite finished here yet, so with that in mind, we're gonna go out here. I'm not really sure if I've killed all the enemies yet. There might still be a few hanging around. But we're gonna go ahead and activate this trap just to see. I'm pretty sure this might actually be a secret, so I'm gonna damage myself a little bit, pick this up. And this spawns a few barriers, as you can see. So you're kind of encased and closed in this area until you defeat the enemies. And that's not a secret at all. It's something you could do, I guess. So yeah, there you go. That's it. That's all that needs to be said about picking up that health power up. It's really just a trap if you're so inclined to pick it up. But what I'm also inclined to pick up is this other 100 health power up, which also activates a second trap. So we're gonna go ahead and do just that. It's not this temple. It's the temple right next to it. This one. And you might wish to keep the axe handy. Let me ask you a question, good sir. I should be shot for that one. So, once the bear is lower down, you can actually just leave. Because it's probably for the better anyway, because it spawns like 3 or 4 clear skeletons, if I recall correctly. And yeah, there's 2 of them, at least. There's the 4th one. Okay. So, if you don't want to be trapped in that area fighting clear skeletons, then that's a thing you could do. You could just leave that place and never have to worry about a thing in the world ever again. And it appears as though there's still a few enemies remaining around, so I'll just go ahead and kill them anyway. One good thing about the axe... that guy went flying. One good thing about the axe, actually, is that it only takes 2 swings to kill a bull with the sledgehammer or the axe, which I never figured out about the sledgehammer previously, but it makes fighting bulls a little bit easier. It's sort of like trying to fight bulls with a knife, except it takes 2 swings instead of 3 in Series Sam 3, so that's always nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually just climb onto this rooftop, and there's no more armor left. Oh, that makes me so disappointed. There's also a motorboat over here. We can't do anything with the motorboat, unfortunately, but whatevs. We're just going to go ahead and complete this level, and the way you complete it is by going back down into the temple where we picked up the very first statue of this area, and check for other power-ups as well. I mean, it's nice to have some shotgun shells on me as well. And I have 1 rocket left. Now, I'm pretty sure I'm missing 1 more secret in this level, and I have no clue, no sweet clue where it is. So, if someone wishes to confirm in the comments section what this secret specifically is, I encourage you to. Oh yeah, there's also this little place that indicates the statues have already collected, which is pretty rad. It probably looks better in the game than it does in the video, but whatever. We're just gonna go ahead and finally end this level by just jumping right down into this section, into the tomb, into this very spooky, scary tomb. And opening this door will cause a cutscene to play, and that's going to end the level off.
key? Did I mention how much I like keys? Where do I put this thing?
We think it unlocks something in Abu's symbol.
Abu, huh?
Check Natrissa. I've uploaded the coordinates.
Where do I meet the chopper?
So...
There's no chopper, is there?
we can't get anything in or out right now. This is the hottest zone in Egypt.
Fantastic.
We picked up a motorboat anchored about a quarter mile from your location. Try to get it and head to Abu's symbol.
You know me. If it floats, I'll make it work. This should help.
What?
Let's just call it my little secret.
I like how he picks it up even though it's still floating, like it was just perfectly positioned so that way he could just pick it up. So yeah, that was Gathering of the Gods, the very first level in Jewel of the Nile, Serious Sam 3 BFE DLC. Try saying that 10 times fast. Anyway, this is going to conclude the video for now. As you can see, I did miss one secret, unfortunately, but I did manage to get all the kills. And the next time we play, we will go through the level which is called Together Forever. So, thank you guys very much for watching. Have a great day or evening. And I guess I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.